Can you tell us, how do you feel today, standing here after witnessing the signing?
Still slightly surprised, enormously delighted, elated. I really didn't think we were going to get there, in a sense, this quickly. It doesn't seem that long ago when people would ask me, well, are you going for marriage? And I said, well, actually, no, because I'm damned if I'm going to campaign for a marriage in a state that doesn't have divorce. And that was part of the thing. And then suddenly it became such an important issue. And the energy was throughout the community and other organisations campaigning for marriage, ourselves also campaigning for marriage. But to get this step going has been just wonderful. And people who complain that it's all taken so much time. I think in the context of civil rights, to go from a stage where we were criminals 17 years ago, and we have now got, I think, 13 pieces of legislation or codes of practice. I still think that there has in fact been a really serious movement in those 17 years. Almost every year there's been some new piece of legislation, some piece of importance on equality, on unfair dismissals legislation, the new immigration stuff that has come in, right back to the thing where all the public servants got anti-discrimination legislation. So it's not the end of it, but I feel this is an enormous step, and I feel very privileged to have been in the Dáil to see the decriminalization, to see this in the Dáil and Senate, 2 enormous days, and here to see this thing being signed. Brilliant.
We are now in the first generation of young people who have reached the age of maturity, where they have lived their whole life not being criminals.
Isn't it wonderful? I think it's astonishing. I mean, gradually they're beginning to cease to believe the fact that they were ever people were criminal. It's talking as though we were in the Dark Ages, which we were, of course, in the Dark Ages, but it's still only 17, 18 years ago, and it's extraordinary. I find that people, women in particular, young women, are told that of a time not that long ago, which I perfectly remember, friends of mine who were sacked automatically if they got married, and they think, that's absolutely not possible. And of course it was possible. And now we were criminals, it's gone. It's a whole new generation there. And the fact that they are getting increasingly angry and not putting up with any nonsense is very admirable. I'm all in favour of it.
What do you have to say about the Minister for Justice who brought this through?
Well, the minister had a roughish reputation. You know, he was regarded as very combative and all the rest of it, and he wasn't the favourite minister in the press or in various other areas. But in fact, I think he's been extraordinary, because he's extremely professional and very tenacious. And it was wonderful to see that when the objections were being made in the Senate by a variety of people on frankly entirely spurious grounds, which was recognised by virtually everybody, but the incisiveness with which he cut down nonsense arguments was wonderful to watch. And I thought, you know, he was the right minister at the right time. I can imagine a lot of ministers, because they're not wildly popular in his party, but once he saw the justice of it, carried it right through.